Hi, Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Enlightened World Network. Tonight we have a special episode of Sisters Supporting Sisters. And it is special because I am here with four fabulous soul sisters, and I cannot wait to share them with you. So first of all, we have Carol Ann Cross, Anaya Joy Ho Lilly, Teri Angel, and Deb Goldberg. And ladies, let's just jump in. So I would love to know, first of all, Carol and Anaya are both from Australia. What is life like in Australia these days?
Very different, but we only feel it's very different because I think that's what everybody is expecting. But the honest thing about it is yes, we're sort of at home. So we stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, which is a bit difficult when you want to put makeup on, but you know. But I think that what it is we're finding out so many more things about ourselves and finding out how much more we can connect with one another through the internet with Zoom and so many other ways. And I just think it's bringing up a whole different points of views about how we look at life. And I think we're all going to come through this very different to what we were when we went into it. I think that there's going to be a lot of changes in us personally and how we look at the world.
So Carol, can I ask you, excuse me, it's not COVID, it's allergies. Can I ask you, what is the most interesting thing about you that you've learned during the last month?
Well, it's really interesting. I've always meditated. I've always done work with spirit and the angels, more so in the last probably 12 or 18 months. But it's more, I've done more going within and just being able to just go within. And because you know, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. I can't see my grandchildren, can't hug them and all those things. But when I'm sort of down there, I just find that if I go within, everything I need is in here. But it's just realizing that it's all in here. Yes, we need the outside world, but our core is what sustains us. And I like to think of the world and my friends and spirit and everybody as my tapestry of life. And so we're all threads and we're all connected. But then to connect up to that thread and that tapestry, I find I'm going more within, and I'm finding I'm more supported that way. Not that I'm needing support, although Anaya and I quite often get on the phone and have a good old chat, but and I'm connecting more to people that perhaps I haven't seen or spoken to for a while. I just get this message, ring up so-and-so. And it's somebody I might not have spoken to for 6 months, but it's then the most interesting situation and conversation because we're linking up in so many different ways. So I think that to me is what I found this at the moment.
All right. And Anaya, what is life like for you in Australia? How far are you from Carol's house? 15 minutes?
We're about 15 minutes. But I've been, I keep saying I don't really like the term self-isolating, but I haven't come up with a new one yet. But I've been self-isolating for 4 weeks now. So it's been a very interesting journey for me because I really want what I can't have. You know, to be out there. If I knew I could go out, hey, I might not go out. I like being at home. But I'm finding out that how much I want that I can't have, how important is it to me really? Like Carol Ann, having conversations. Someone sent me a message the other day. I reached out via message and they sent me one back, and I started to write a message and I thought, this isn't good enough. I need to ring this person. And I've noticed how busy I thought I was, or too busy to catch up. Too busy for this, too busy for that. The other amazing thing I found out about myself, and it's a little story. Do we have time for me to share it?
You go, girl. We absolutely do.
I think it's the isolation story, Deb. So I went through a period of time where I felt so isolated and I was virtually hyperventilating, and I'm on the phone to Carol Ann and I'm, you know, workshopping through it with Carol Ann. And I put a post up on Facebook just saying, look, I'm having a tough day today. And a friend of mine, a soul sister, Bev Kirk, who is an amazing woman to start with. And she's actually going to be coming onto Angel Heart Radio, which I'm really thrilled about. But she works in the area of psychology, and she rang me up and she said, right, I need to have a conversation with you. When have you got some time? So I rang her up and she said, Anaya, I want you to think about, when did you feel isolated from your loved ones before puberty? I'm thinking, when could that be? Oh my God, then I realized, I'm getting goosebumps right now. When I was a very little girl, my sister and I was probably under 5. My sister and I had to go to an orphanage. My mum she had an accident in the kitchen and she got splattered with hot fat and was in hospital. And so obviously Dad was working, and men didn't know how to look after kids in those days anyway, quite frankly. So we went to this orphanage, and the feeling, and then she helped me to see that I was carrying a lot of trauma around that time. And as I started to talk to her about it, I began to realize that the isolation I was feeling was nothing to do with COVID-19. It's nothing to do with being at home. Then I had another memory flash in. My sister Sue and I, we were just little girls and we're playing hiding. Oh, let's hide in here. You know what it's like? Close the door. And it was in an old outhouse. We used to all have outside toilets. God, years and years ago, my grandparents' days, it was no longer a toilet. It was a little storage shed for tools for the garden. And the woman's house where we were at heard that we were locked in, and she came out and she said, well, you shouldn't be in there in the first place. You can just stay there, and walked away and left us. And she was really mean about it. So then I had this fear come in that, and this is partly where part of my over responsibility that I've been working with for so long, both experiences, that I'd put my sister in this position. It was my fault. We were isolated, we were trapped, and it was such a major revelation. So I'm going to preempt the question you asked, Carol Ann. What's the major thing I found out about myself through this experience? The gratitude I feel that COVID-19 has provided me with so many avenues for so much self-discovery, and for enlightening me how much I took for granted. I don't want to go to the shop. I don't want to go shopping. Ugh. Now it's like, oh my God, I'm going to be able to go to the shop one day. So it's helping me to see that I took so much for granted. And it is actually a real revelation.
Yeah,
there are areas where I do struggle. I won't say there aren't. There are. I miss my family dreadfully. However, it's a different kind of missing now that I understand where my sense of isolation is really coming from.
Wow, good for you. I had a dream the other night. I've always thought of myself as an introvert. So in some ways it's like, cool, I don't have to go out and, make small talk with people I'll never see again. But I had a dream the other night that I walked into a room. It was a large room, all kinds of people in there, no masks, no gloves, and people were just talking. And I was so happy to be there with strangers just talking. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. I mean, I do miss that. I mean, when I go into the stores, I still make eye contact because I crave that. I mean, yes, I'm here with my family, but I would go into Target and smile at the cashier. Well, nobody's making eye contact right now. It's like,
whoa.
Hello. I mean, it's like we can still connect. I know we're protecting each other from each other, but we can still connect. So I think I'm missing that.
That's sad.
It is sad.
And I wonder if it's the eye contact, if people are afraid if they make eye contact, it might be misconstrued as an invitation to come and speak with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just odd. Deb, what's it like for you in Pennsylvania?
People are allowed to walk around as long as you keep space. If you wanted to go for a walk outside, I hear that the states are meeting to discuss how they can start taking away some of the regulations. So I know that is something that's happening right now. But for me, it hasn't changed my life a whole lot. I work from home, so I'm here all the time, just now limited in some of the things that I used to do. Um, it's been a really great experience in grounding myself even more into God and surrendering, letting go. And and then there's another part of being able to see constructs that I might not have seen before that need to be cleared within myself, of just things that show up. It was really funny the other day. I was upset about my husband that he didn't fold my laundry. When I do the laundry, I fold his, right? And I put it on the bed for him to put it away. And so I went in the other day and he had taken care of his stuff and just left mine in the basket. And so this little part of me was like, what's this about? Like, why did you fold my stuff? I fold it for you. And I'm like, and so I'm witnessing all of this in myself. And I'm mad, so I'm huffy. And I go to the refrigerator because I was going to get some lunch anyway. But staring right in front of me is a box of chocolate covered cherries. And I said, I'm going to take one of those. So I'm watching myself do all of this. Like, okay, I'm going to eat something now instead of really dealing with those feelings of being upset. And I talked to him about it. I'm like, why did you do that? So I just, I've been having these little things happen during the day where I get to say, oh, well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how I took something and made a story up out of it? And then I went to get something chocolate, so I didn't have to deal with my feelings. And it's just been really great. So I've had all kinds of different things pop up, and at the same time feel much more grounded and peaceful in the things that I've been taught, and really anchoring into that at the same time. So it's interesting to watch the both things going on at the same time. Yeah. And trying to let go some more. Even like, we have a trip coming up. The three, me and Ruth and Teri, are supposed to meet in Florida on May 1st to do our day of transformation. And so I'm like, okay, well, I believe all of this stuff is going to be over fairly soon. But then I'm watching a part of me saying, I really want to be together with them. And how can I let go of that? How can I just let go and know that whatever ends up happening is perfect? It's exactly the way that it's supposed to be. So it's given me so many different opportunities to witness and shift and become much more aware of myself as I've had this time of more, you want to call it seclusion, although I don't feel like I'm secluded. I feel it, I'm doing the same thing that I was doing before this ever happened. And so anyway, yes, and I'm supposed to visit my children too in May after we got together. So it's, sort of like, okay, it's all out of my hands.
Yeah.
It is out of my hands, and I have to believe that whatever unfolds is good for me. It's good for everybody.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Teri, you are on a spiritual retreat here. It's kind of crazy how your life has changed in the past month. What's it like for you where you are in your isolation?
It's wonderful. It really is. If I could have chosen someplace to be isolated and secluded, this would have been the place I chose, unless it was Hawaii. But and this wasn't planned. I planned to be here to do our last day of transformation, which I came up here to do. And then that's when everything came to a screeching halt with the world, and we were told pretty much to stay put. So yeah, I'm loving life. I really am. I see this as a gift that we've been given. You know, we can look at things any different way that we choose. We have the ability to decide that. And I'm choosing to look at the positive that's going to come from this. So yes, I would love to be able to go out and go shopping, or, you know, do the quote normal things that we used to do. But then I realized there was so much chatter. I don't miss the chatter. I don't miss all the noise and the distractions. And it's given me a chance to really get connected in with spirit. I write every day. I meditate every day. I talk every day. It's given me a chance to really do some things that I haven't done in years. I've actually written letters, handwritten letters. This is amazing. I can't tell you the last time I sat down and hand wrote a letter to anybody. But one of the things that came out with all of the outreach and the community that was developed is called Letters of Love. And we send letters to people that are maybe isolated and closed in. Maybe they're sick. Sherry Meyer's mom, who just went into hospice. We as a community decided, let's all send her cards. Let's send her notes and letters and let her know that she's loved and that we're lifting her up in prayer. So it's given a chance to really get back to basics. You know, we're so used to sitting down at a computer and typing out whatever it is that we want to send off. But when you handwrite something, that's your energy. You're really pouring your energy into that. And then when somebody else receives it, they receive your energy. So there's been a lot of inspirational stuff that's coming forward from all of this. And I'm sorry, but I love life right now. And I know I just hold that vision that when we come out on the other side of this, when we're able to integrate back into society, we're going to remember this time, and we're going to remember how good it felt to give somebody a gift of our time, the gift of maybe something special where we just sent them a little note and said, I'm thinking about you, I love you. When we picked up the phone and we actually called people and talked to them instead of texting. I know I'm going to remember it. And I'm setting that intention for all of us to hold all of that close and to not lose sight of what that feels like, to really connect and not do the surface connecting that we were doing before.
Mm-hmm.
I found it to be truly a fascinating time, and not just because of what's happening in the world, but because I'm seeing it from so many different levels. So for one, I'm a mother of 2 teenagers, so processing with them, and they're kind of choosing to just ignore it, right? They're not catastrophizing things. They're not making a huge deal out of it. They're really just trying to kind of go with the flow. So my role with them is to keep the calm, keep the peace. Mm-hmm. We're going to be fine. It's fine. We're good. My role with my mother, I can't see her, haven't seen her in 6 weeks. And so that's really weird. Knowing that her cognitive decline is continuing, and I can't even be with her to get any of the good minutes left that she's got. So that's, you know, a not so good part. Being there for my husband, you know, he kind of goes up and down, and I'm there to catch when he does, although he's more self-regulating now, which is nice, you know. And then to watch me go through it. And that's been fascinating to me, because as it rolled out, I went through my days of, you know, I don't eat a lot of sugar, but I'm going to eat the Easter candy, right? And this was 3 weeks before Easter. And I just don't do that. But here I was doing it. And I thought, wow, look at me. What am I doing? So it's been kind of fascinating. And then also being a person who lives a life of service and seeing things from that spiritual vantage, sort of why things and how things are rolling out, and having a foot planted in the earthly realm with the family and a foot unplanted in the ethereal realm. And it's a fascinating juggling act, I think.
Yeah.
You all are all living lives of service. So how is that for you, having a foot or a wing in each plane? What's that like? Deb, you're nodding your head. What's that like for you?
Yeah, that's a constant juggling act of staying in my knowingness and not all what my physical senses are telling me. And yet at the same time, so I'll give you an example. I'm not afraid. I don't believe I'm going to catch a virus. I don't believe in any of that, that I have to fear it. And yet at the same time, I watch myself say, there's a part of me saying, let's just go Lysol the house. So this is what it's like to walk in both places, even though it's really one. But yeah, so then I'm like, okay, I'm wiping off the doorknobs and I'm Lysoling this and Lysoling that, not out of in a coming out of a fearful way. It's just sort of like, oh, okay, well, this makes me feel more, I'm being more hygienic or whatever you want to call it. And so while I'm doing that, I'm doing it in peace, but it's making a part of me feel better that I'm actually going and doing this act. And so in the past where I might have said, oh, I don't believe that, I'm not doing that. I'm trying to be more harmonious with myself and give that part of myself what it needs. So that's also something that I've had more practice with, is becoming more harmonious and doing what I need to do to not be in resistance with myself and still be anchored in what I know is true. And I showed you today, Ruth. And then when I had to go visit my inner child today, so I got my teddy bear out.
Yeah.
And just knowing that this is an illusion that feels really real. And I just need to walk that, whatever needs to be done in the moment, and stay anchored in my truth.
Yeah, that's a really, really great way of putting it. And I've always been really conscious about the balance between my spiritual life and my physical life. And I think this is bringing it more and more to the fore, that spiritually, I know that we're all exactly where we're meant to be. We've known that something was going to happen. We've known that we were going to get big support from the angelic realm. We've known that a lot of people are going to leave the planet at this time because it was not part of their contract when they came back into this lifetime. And then the other part of me is like, I'd almost give anything to give a hug to my grandchildren and my daughter. And so, it's a really interesting balance, trying to keep that balance and staying grounded. I'm really blessed. I live on an acreage. We've got lots of trees, so I can go out into the trees and go around the garden. I've been planting new plants and grounding myself in a great many ways. But it's like you hear people going into panic and you want to comfort them, but you can't comfort them because you can't hug them. But all you can do is to talk to them about your point of view, even if they don't understand it, by giving them a sort of maybe a shortened part of it. But I think the most important thing for me too is knowing that this is where I'm meant to be, even if I don't understand exactly what I'm meant to be doing. And just to keep on keeping in contact with my angels, my spirit guides, my dragons, my everybody that I work with, and knowing that, Anaya and I were talking a little while ago, I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be so exhausted. And she said, you're doing so much work during the night, you've got to start telling them you need to have a good night's sleep. So every night after I do my gratitude and my prayers and all of those things, then I say to them, okay, I'm willing to do the work, but I must have a good night's sleep. And it's made such a difference. And to me, this is all about balance in my life. I'm really, really a stickler for balance and grounding and all of those things. And yeah. So.
Teri, I'm laughing because you're going, yeah, balance. And I'm looking at you going, balance?
Yeah. You know, it's like I've always been driven. And right now, well, after last year, what I went through last year, for those of you that don't know, I went through breast cancer. And after I came out of that, it was like, this is a mission now, is to help people emotionally. And so I've always had this drive, but now it's like it's increased 1,000-fold to do what my passion is, to do what my path is. And I understand about balance and I feel balanced. It's weird because I know that I'm really doing and you know, on here a lot, I'm on other places a lot, but I feel balanced. And it's like, I feel the earth coming into balance, and that's what we're feeling.
Wonderful.
Also, it's like we're feeling that shift that's happening. But I also am very much in touch with myself, with my angel guides. And when I start to feel my vibration dip, I hear that song, and you all may not even know the song. It's a Willie Nelson song, is Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground. So anytime my vibration starts to go down, I get into some ego moment or whatever pops up. It's like, there you go. You're just diving down into the ground right now. Get back up there. And so I'll flap my wings and I go back up. But it's all about knowing what your path is, knowing that you're living your passion. And you know, I feel that I'm okay in maintaining what I'm doing. And when it's time for me to back off, they'll let me know that. They'll let me know that my wings are about to touch ground, and you know, it's not a place for me to be at that moment, and to step aside, you know, go inside. But I'm really feeling the balance. I'm so much into the energy of the earth right now, probably because I'm surrounded by all this nature where I'm at. And you know, I'm so grateful for Gerald Ann, and I'm so grateful for this place that I've been secluded, because I walk outside and it's like all this beauty, this immense beauty. And I've sent you all some of the pictures, and I posted some of the pictures, the sunsets here. I just want to stay in that moment, looking at all those colors. And so it's all of that energy that comes into me to balance. And I've never been one to really sleep anyway. So get a few hours of sleep, I'm good with that.
So, and Naya, I'm curious about your world. You were living a life of service before this happened. Has that form of how you provide service changed as a result of where we are?
Some ways not at all, and in other ways greatly. So all the things that I normally do with Angel Heart Radio and Angel Light 777, that is all still continuing. And yet I'm actually living a greater level of service to myself. Little things, little tiny things, like I would normally pick up my grandchildren twice a week in the morning and take them to kindy and to school, and then again in the afternoon. And what a joy. That's such a joy for me. And so I started to feel like I'm missing out on this time with my grandchildren. And then I realized, you know, this is my perception. What is my choice here? And so in my phone, I always have the days that I'm picking up the kids, because I have so many other things that sometimes I forget what day it is. And so the alarm would go off to say it's a kid's day. And I'd feel blur. And I thought, you know what, I can really do something with this in service to myself. And so I changed the alarm to one day closer to picking up the children. And now when it goes off and I see it, it's like, oh, isn't that so great? So I'm living in greater service to myself. I'm paying more attention to what I need. If I need to step away from something, I'm stepping away. I have a Gemini rising, so my mind is very powerful and wants to really live me. So I'm experiencing a way of living myself in service that I've really not done before. So this has been a beautiful time in so many ways. So, and the gratitude for so much. There is so much available. There are so many choices I have. How am I going to feel today? Okay, so let's say I feel really down. I might be having a bit of a down day. And instead of giving myself a hard time about that and just getting busy in service to others, I've chosen to stop and get in center to service to myself. Where is this really coming from? What does this mean for me? What are the ways I can love me through this? And of course, that's the deep well, isn't it? The more I love myself through everything, the more love I actually have and is created and generated that then I have to share with others. Like Deb, I've got my beautiful teddy bear. And Deb taught me how to be in service to myself with my teddy, to pick that teddy up and see it. See that teddy bear as my inner self, my little child in the arms of God, and talk to her and love her. Oh, it's the most extraordinary experience, Deb. I can't thank you enough for that. And the tenderness that comes out of that for myself. And then as I'm feeling and experiencing that tenderness for myself, I realize it's a fraction of what God feels for me and has created for me. I'm getting really emotional about it because it's so beautiful. And to know that nothing, absolutely nothing happens to me, that everything happens for me, even when I can't see it that way. It generates a level of hope and comfort, but mostly service. I was very comfortable in being of service to others. This time is teaching me how to be in service to myself. And part of that is just being honest, having a friend like Carol Ann that I can pick up the phone and say, I'm feeling this way, completely and honestly, and we never judge each other. Isn't it wonderful, Carol Ann?
Yes, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful to you for being in my life and having that level of self-love, because you love yourself and care for yourself and nurture yourself as well. So you can help me as I'm experiencing the need to do that for myself. So I feel like a very different person in so many ways. Sorry, Caroline.
I was just going to say, I feel exactly the same way because, you have opened up so much for me that it's just amazing how my life has changed since we got back together after being apart for so many years, which is just because life gets in the way. And then we got back together and Aya says, do you want to do this with me? And yes, and wow, where is the world? It's all happening. It's just awesome. It's really amazing. And so I'm so blessed to have you in my life as well, that you can help me when I need help and I can help you. We just work really well together.
And it's the partnership with you too, Ruth and Teri and Deb and Enlightened World. We constantly mention you on our show because we have this level, this profound level of respect and gratitude and almost a wonder, isn't it, Carol? It's almost like this wonder that, oh my gosh, we are a part of this amazing family. And this family there is such a balance within the family that you've created, Ruth. So I want to give you acknowledgement. I remember way back when you first started getting this urge to create this and how strong you were standing in what you felt to be the guidance. You didn't waver. You were steadfast in so many ways. And look at what we've all experienced and do experience, and the other people that are involved. It's the umbrella, isn't it? It's the umbrella for humanity. And, you know, every panel has something amazing. And when we look at each panel is made up of many other panels.
Mm.
And it expands my awareness of the depth and grace of beauty that exists in every moment, regardless of how I'm feeling in my physical life, in my human part of my life. That's a beautiful thing. So thank you.
Oh, well, what a pleasure to, you know, Archangel Michael, and I'm pointing over here because he's usually over here. He really brought Enlightened World and Enlightened World Network into existence starting about 3 years ago. And I kept feeling this hand on my back, like keep going, keep going, keep going. And there was such urgency to it. And I would look around and go, how come nobody else is urgent here? But I just kept hearing it and I just kept pushing forward with it. And it was monumental, bringing all of the different parts in. And I remember at one point, it was as if I was on a tarmac at an airport going, okay, a little to the left, bring it in, a little to the left. I could tell it was pre-prepared. And I was just bringing it in. I was on the receiving end. And it wasn't until COVID hit that I realized this is why. This is why Enlightened World was created. This is why the timing of Enlightened World being created was. This is why there was such urgency. And I am pleased that whenever I heard almost to do anything, I did it. And that's what's brought everybody here together. There are some things that have been left on the floor that I just haven't been able to get to. But the bulk of everything that I was shown is in place right now. And you see it as an umbrella, I see it as a basket. And to me, it's a basket that supports anybody who loves divine light to come be with us. It doesn't matter if it's in the form of religion or philosophy or spirituality, it doesn't matter. It's just a profound love for divine light. And that's what binds all of us together. So thank you for saying that. That's so beautiful to hear. And I'm pleased that we've got folks online with us over on Facebook. Sally De La Rosa, Belinda Don Michaud, I'm saying that wrong. Dr. Reverend Gerald Ann Peterson, so proud of you. And we've got Tony DeBraze De La Rosa. And there was somebody else on here too, Deirdre Fitzsimmons, welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you all with us. And we are all connected. We are all one, and we keep seeing that more and more.
Yep.
And I just wanted to update y'all what we've been working with 500,000 Earth Angels. And this morning, a friend had sent me a Facebook post that I didn't see, but it was something I had written a year ago today. And it came up on her feed as, you know, Ruth had shared this a year ago. And I read it, and it was about the 500,000 Earth Angels and how they had just come into our realm on April 8 of last year. And I'd been able to see them for a couple of days. And it was about their presence here in the earthly realm. Well, then I didn't really experience them again until this March 13th. They showed up again, and they have been working with us in silent meditations. They have been going to the hospitals to support medical staff. They've been sitting with patients, with loved ones who have lost someone from COVID, with folks that are afraid. These Earth Angels are here, they're with us. And as I'm talking about them, I'm getting total goosebumps. But we don't want to forget them because they are here for us. And when we live in that world of, I know the angels, I can see the angels, I know Divine Mother, love Divine Mother, it's really hard to get into the angst and the fear and the panic that is surrounding us. And frankly, I'm glad it's hard to
Yes, I'm glad.
Yeah.
get
Yep.
in there. Yeah.
And I find it gives me the strength too when I'm having a conversation and this one person, very, very dear person, who keeps falling into fear. And it's been fantastic because I've been constantly being able to say, honey bun, this is a fear that isn't real. It's based on something that's in you. So let's talk about the ways that we can support you to feel safe in yourself. You know, and that's been really great because she's come to this place. It's like she's so grateful because she keeps seeing, and now she's finding all these other things popping up in her world. Something she saw on Netflix, Heal, with Deepak Chopra and Anita Moorjani, and you know, she's finding all this. It's reflecting back to her. So it's great to step out of those conversations in a way that doesn't shut the door on someone's fear, but it helps them to experience something beyond that fear, because that's all it is.
Yeah.
You just need to go beyond that fear, because all that's true is love, and we know that. And fear is just the shadow that says, oh, no doorway here. You walk into your fear and you go, oh, there you go, I see you.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Right. So have any of you experienced even stronger connection to the spiritual divinity, or learned a new skill, like being able to talk or hear angels better as a result of all of this? Or has that kind of stayed the same? And you were nodding your head yes.
Yeah, it's not even that. I mean, you guys know I love working with the angelic realms so much. What's changed for me is the way that my receptors have grown. The more I love myself in this, it's, you know, how all our cells have receptors and our thoughts turn them on and off and say, well, this is what you're going to turn into. It's like I'm one great big giant cell of love, even when I'm in fear, because I do go into fear, and I'm experiencing them in a very different way. It's a very subtle way. I actually had gotten very comfortable with the way, and I can see now I'd gotten a bit too comfortable in some ways. I wasn't reaching out to expand the way I was experiencing my connection with my team. I mean, the dragons have come in for a start, the dragon energy. I've always known the dragon energy was there, but I was never quite sure what that meant in terms of how to work with these beings. Wow, this morning, my dragon is Estelle. And she's amazing. She actually has earrings and carries a handbag. When she shows up, she's got a great sense of humor. So she teaches me to laugh beyond what I'm thinking. It's just a thought, and get out of your head. And she turned up this morning. I was walking into the bedroom for something, and she turned up, and she just had this big rainbow of energy for me. And it's amazing to walk into that. So I guess in some ways I'm listening in a deeper way. I'm not just relying on all the ways that I've always done something. So I'm being expanded, which is very exciting. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. And I'd have to say, you know, what has changed, there's a couple of things that have changed for me. But I know everybody else, you know, to me, God has just always been within me. I've never actually experienced God outside of me until I had a dream a few weeks ago. And I was a small child, and I was with some children, and they were frightened because the adults were all acting strange. They're acting out of fear, and they're acting horrible. And what's wrong with our adults? And then I saw my father, mind you, I was about 3. I saw my father over to one side. So I ran over to my father. He picked me up and put me in his arms and patted my head back and said, there's nothing to fear. It's going to be all right. There's nothing to fear. It's going to be all right. And I looked up, and it wasn't my father. It was God. And that's my first real that I can remember actually being in God's arms. And it was just beautiful, just beautiful. And then I had another dream a couple of nights later that I was going down off a cliff, a precipice, and I was going down into the water, and I'm saying, but I can't open my eyes under the water. I can't open my eyes under the water. And of course, water is emotion. And so they're saying, yes, you can. So as I'm getting deeper and deeper and my head's going under the water, I could breathe and open your eyes. And I opened my eyes and I could see. And they're saying, see, there's nothing to fear. You can see through the fear. You can see through the emotion. It's going to be all right. And so I've had these things happen to me recently that have been just so amazing that these things are changing for me. And yes, I'm working with the dragons more and more and loving them. And I'm so pleased that they've come into my life and I've been able to share that with everybody. It's just lovely. So it's just been an amazing time. It's been really amazing.
I would like for you all to teach me about the dragons at some point. That'll be another session, but that's new energy for me. But I just wanted to share one thing quick. I think it must have been last week, early last week. And I was sitting here talking with Deb and Teri, and I hear Archangel Michael say, "Get your bunny on." I said, "What?" And he said, "Get your bunny on." I said, "What does that mean?" And it meant to celebrate Easter and enjoy it, enjoy the joy, enjoy the love, enjoy the lightness, the colors, the flowers. And that was new because, the angels have been there to support folks that are grieving and really that are sick and struggling. But here Archangel Michael was going and celebrate life.
Yes.
So that was so fun. So get your bunny on. That was fun.
I like that.
Audrey, I'd like to welcome you. Welcome to the table. Where are you calling from?
First off, I have no makeup on. I have nothing. I didn't even remember this. So
You're
you'll
here.
be as naked, except I have on a t-shirt, as possible. I am in Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm glad that I even saw this to pop on. And I know nothing about this dragon stuff, except I like dragons. So I'm
You have
interested.
one. We all have one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's interesting. What is your name? Anea? You were talking
Well
about
done. Well done. Yes, Anaya.
thank you. Well, my first male grandson, who's 8, had asked me to paint a beta fighting fish. I
Yeah.
paint abstracts. I'm a healer. And I just finished the not flying fish. Well, I call it sunrise beta. I'm going to get it out and show you because you talked rainbow. Wait till you see its tail.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm taking you into that room.
This is great.
Audrey, I just love your energy. Thank you for popping in here.
Hold on. Can you see it?
Oh, wow.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
I can. Yes, I can.
Oh, wow.
Those are
Isn't it cute?
Yeah. I
I
love
don't
the
know.
colors.
I don't know. I do abstracts, but this is sunrise beta.
wow.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It really is gorgeous.
Mm.
He's
I'm
gonna
so
look
glad
at
to experience this.
Okay, so I thought of that when you said, "Oh, I said, and I just finished it." Now I know why it had to be finished today.
Right, yep. And now you know why you
So I
joined us when you did. Mm.
say it again.
And now you know why you joined us when you did. You joined us. Beautiful moment.
You
Yeah.
can't see 'em. Yeah. So is this? We're all healers, or what are we? Do I need to even know? Not really.
We're all light workers in different ways.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yep. And that's
Yes.
a healing thing for ourselves and the planet and everyone
That's
on it.
me.
That's the beauty to me of having so many different people together. When I look at your faces and I think and I feel I can feel the people watching and experiencing this. And there are so many, it really is like the rainbow, isn't it? Because you think the rainbow is just certain colors, but when you expand it and see into it, oh, I've got a really cool story. I'd love to tell you about this. One day I was having a lot of experiences with rainbow energy, and I was driving up the street, and this rainbow about this big started shimmering near me in the air. And it was amazing. I'd never experienced anything like that before. And about 3 days later, I was sitting in the front yard under the tree, and this, you know, when you see oil on water, that came in and started working all around me. And it was extraordinary to sit in that. And it reminded me, actually taught me about the unseen, I call it magic, not as in pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but that unseen frequencies are all around us all the time, activated. And sometimes we are conscious of them, sometimes we're not, but they're always loving us and working with us. And we have so much help, so much support, so much guidance. It's a little bit mind-blowing to me, the level of love that there is for us. So
If
thank
I
you.
could share a story, one of our soul sisters, Camille Desalm, has been in the hospital and had surgery a couple days ago, ladies, 3 days ago, maybe. And we, the three of us, Teri, Deb, and I, went into silent meditation, and we knew that we were to be holding Camille in spirit. So we ended up in the operating room with her, and we could see the surgeon, we could see the nurses. We had divine healers in there. We had earth angels. We had archangels. It was a full, this place was full. And we experienced such love for Camille. And the nurses, some of the nurses were struggling because their colleagues are on the line, right? Their first responders. And the earth angels went to those nurses and then were deployed to hospitals around the planet. And the level of love that we felt, there's that much love for everybody, not just Camille Desalm. And it was such a beautiful reminder to us that we are so not alone, and the depths of love that are held for us, we can't even begin to comprehend.
Yeah. Yes, I was in an amazing situation once. There was a woman who I knew, this is some years ago now, and her brand new baby grandson was in, so this is how life, the energy creates opportunity. And he was only like, he was a baby, he was little, not newborn, but he was very young, and he was in ICU. And she said, will you come with me? And I said, okay. And I thought I'd be there as a support for her. And then they invited me into the room with this, and I didn't hardly know this woman. And I walked into the room and I saw this little tiny boy. And I naturally had been already calling in the angels for support and love and guidance, and as we have our own ways of doing. And all of a sudden I saw Archangel Raphael at the boy's head, because it was unknown whether he could survive at this stage with the surgery he'd had, and etc. And Archangel Uriel at his feet. And they showed me that Raphael was flowing this energy through the boy's body, and Uriel was receiving it as it came out of the body. And his energy was simultaneously replacing this beautiful frequency within his body. And they showed me that within every single cell, it was like, you know, when you see you pour a drink and it's effervescent, and the way the bubbles just, and this is what was happening, the bubbles were effervescing in his cells and helping the cells to shed the energies that were not supporting his recovery. And then that was then flowing out. And it was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And since then I've seen it so many times, and it's spontaneous. If I hear of someone in hospital, or if I see a prayer request on Facebook or whatever. It's a beautiful thing to have an open heart. Yeah.
That is beautiful. And ladies, I see that our time is wrapping up. I love being here with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Carol Ann Cross, Anea Joy Lilly from Australia. We adore you. Thank you. Thank you. Teri Angel from Florida, Audrey from Florida, and Deb Goldberg from Pennsylvania. So much love to you all from all of us and Enlightened World Network. Sisters supporting sisters. You're not in this alone. Not only do you have the spiritual beings supporting you, you've got us at Enlightened World Network. So don't be a stranger and stay with us. There's lots of hearts going up on our comments section. Thank you, Sally, Susanna. Beautiful. So glad you all joined us today. So much love to you all. God bless. You all take care. And
Thank you.
we'll connect with you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.